I'm Sean Doherty. I lead the EMEA security business practice at Symantec. I'll step off the stage to give you a clear view of the screen. So what I'm here to talk about is our research that we've done using our massive amount of visibility that we have of what happens in the world every day. We have the largest intelligence network out there. We process 1.5 billion security events a day. We see just over a third of the world's email. We obviously extend our protection across our consumer brand, Norton. So we're using a lot of home accounts as part of our intelligence, as well as our enterprise networks and customers. Very difficult to see on the screen. With the little dots there, the darker green ones are where we have our global SOCs. So part of our 24/7 follow the sun SOC operations where our analysts lives, and the little grey ones are where we have specific analysts. For example, in each time zone there are people who are writing AV signatures and analysis, and anti-spam and other technologies. Basically, we detect a lot of stuff. We see a lot of things. There's a document on the top of that riser over there, which is our Internet Security Threat Report, number 15. We publish annually an update every half year, where we summarise what we're finding here. We look at the trends, what's hot and what's not. I thoroughly recommend that document. But one of the things that we found out of this over the last couple of years is a fundamental change in the threat landscape. When I first started in information security, unfortunately a very long time ago, the only way that you could get malware, it wasn't even called malware then, it was called a virus, was on a 3.5-inch diskette, which apparently they're now going to stop making, so that's making me feel really, really old. But this required transfer from machines, and what did most of the viruses do? They were either malicious, they would either just wipe your hard disk, or they were just mischievous. One of my favourites was a virus called Typo that just used to mess your typing up if you started typing fast. It was really pest, nasty, some of it very nasty format hard disk, but none of it was financially motivated. And that's what we found in 2008. We actually reached the point at which the technologies started to go silent, and they started to be driven towards getting information, because it's the information that we all have which is now valuable. And the breach we find is created by three people. The organised attackers, who I'm going to focus on in this presentation, but also the well-meaning insider, the person who accidentally breaches information. I'm not going to ask anybody to embarrass themselves, but I'm sure everybody here has got a friend at some point who has accidentally allowed the autocomplete in a mail product, Outlook, Domino, etc., to fill someone else's name in, and you've sent something to the wrong person. As I say, I won't embarrass anybody here, I've done it. It happens. Sometimes we see very sensitive data being sent. The other thing with a well-meaning insider is it's someone who's organised a business process. And they did it in the best intentions. We need to include this business partner or someone, or I've got some member of staff who's off sick, they're at home, they don't have their company machine, I'll send them the spreadsheet they were working on to their Hotmail account. They're trying to fix a business process. What they're forgetting is that Hotmail account is just about as open as you can get. Everything's going extremely good. Yeah. The other piece is the malicious insider. We've seen a lot of these over the last couple of years as we've seen downsizing in organisations. People have tried to monetize the data that they have access to in that company. Basically, customer records, whatever, take them with them. And we've got a lot of research that we've done, and third parties have done, to show that most employees believe they own your data, if it's data that they own. And of course, there is a link between the malicious insiders and organised attackers. So, we've done a lot of research, we've looked at a lot of breaches, we've worked with a lot of customers and a lot of prospects who come to us and they say, look, we've had a problem, we would really like to understand your help in understanding what went on. And this often happens many, many months after a breach occurred. And what we found is these 4 steps which we've named there's some debate in the industry over what the actual name should be, but everybody is agreeing that there are these 4 phases. And one of the reasons we know they're discrete phases is if we go out to some of the sites where we can buy information, we see that there are monetized points. The incursion phase, there are people who will sell you an incursion. I can go onto some websites now, I can buy an incursion into any one of your organisations. Give me your organisation details, I'll go and get some stolen credit card details, which I'll probably use to pay for it, and I will buy a team. That team will operate an incursion. How are they going to do that? The 2 most common ways that we're seeing at the moment is, 1, they're going to use some of the old favourites. They're going to start spamming your organisation. They're going to, in fact, they can probably go speed phishing. They're going to try and get something in an email that gets clicked, that's got a drive-by in it, or a highly socially engineered, and we're seeing the high social engineering spear phishing is on the rise. Send an email to a CEO of an organisation, and there are large global organisations this has happened to. I'm not going to tell you who because it can't, but there are large global organisations where the CEO has received an email from the tax authority in a small country that they deal with. Yeah, I'll pick a country, Belgium. So the Belgian tax authority send an email to the CEO of a large global organisation saying your organisation is required to comply with this new regulation or show that you're certified against it. Of course, the CEO of large doesn't deal with that, so he forwards it onto the CFO. The CFO forwards it onto perhaps a regional financial controller, who finally forwards it onto the controller who deals with tax in Belgium. That person has got an email from the tax authority that's been sent on from the CEO, the CFO, probably 4 lines above them. What are they going to do? If it says you need to install this application to fill in this questionnaire to provide compliance, they'll do it. Because they've been highly social engineered to get to that point. Because what they've just installed is something which is going to allow someone to get control of their machine. Nobody ever wanted to get control of the CEO's machine. Most CEO's machine have email and a web browser on it. They have no access to core systems. They can't get to your ERP, they can't get to other systems. That financial controller can. You're in exactly the right place in the organisation. The other way that they're getting in is they're looking for poorly protected web infrastructure. They're looking for those machines that are not part of your maintenance and patch. Those pieces that are sitting out there that we're finding, huge numbers. 80% of the machines that we find had a patch existing for 6 months that had never been applied. Someone used the vulnerability to get through to get in.